Go. Recording.
Hey.
Game. Curiously enough nga pala, going back to what Tony said, what happened in how they do how do they know who's the master or GM in their town. Curiously, if you look at old traditions, before it became public, before it became commercial, that's how it's ano naman talaga done. They just know this person is really good. Oh, this one is a master of fighting, knows the stick or knows this. So you go to this person. So the style wasn't that important until it became commercial. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. So Tony, ano pa? Go ahead.
Do you have any additional input on the topic, Sir Kuya Antoken and Kuya Eliseo?
Okay, collect
Any input or we just
Eliseo
proceed
pala.
to
Let me
other
change
questions?
my name. Hindi ako makaano dito.
Yeah. Did you,
No, I think I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I thought his nickname is Gasolina.
do you see my name? Do you see my name?
I will also change mine.
Naging
Okay.
the Pogue, Henry Posadas, the Pogie.
So,
Ano na,
let's
Sir
go to-
Anthony?
are we going to
I think
proceed?
let's
Okay.
go. Let's proceed to the next question.
Yeah.
Or
So next question, how about the teaching methodologies? Because basically, let's say there are two approaches, right? Positive method and negative method. So when we say positive method, it's more about encouraging. So encouragement, and negative method is telling what is wrong and what is right. So
I don't know.
how you
Na-encourage
balance
ako
that?
Wala na yung focus nyo.
Oo nga.
So how you balance that with that kind of way of teaching?
Okay, who goes first? Ikaw na muna, Anthony. Baliktad naman. Ikaw na muna.
Ako?
Sige, go ahead.
Ganayahin nyo lang ako eh.
Yeah.
So basically, for me, on my side of positive, when we talk about mga new student, so since to keep them interested, I think on my view, I go to the positive method. And then when he deeply engaged on learning the art, that's the time that I will go to the negative method approach. When we say negative, telling what is wrong and telling what is right. And also on the positive method, let's say for example, children or youth, we can go to the positive method because we need to build up their confidence. So that's my thought. So on your side.
I have to confess, when you're talking about kids, I don't like teaching kids. It's not that it's right or wrong. It takes a special gift to teach kids. I honestly am not patient in teaching kids unless I like the kid. And most likely, if I'll ever teach a youngster, it'll be one-on-one. But teaching, when I used to teach in karate, I see parents that bring their kids because they just want a nanny.
Yep.
I say, I
I
just
agree.
play there.
Uh,
I'm a bad teacher.
yeah. Can I just add?
Yes, Mr. Toki.
Yeah. I can only add in terms of, because I never took my black belt, so I'm not qualified to talk about teaching martial arts. I'm just going to talk about teaching in general because I teach filmmaking. It really depends. So it really depends on the person, because there are some people that you need to encourage, and then there are some people which are fighters and who really want to know how to fight, the real McCoy. There's a vast difference kasi when you're talking about martial art as an art, as a cultural art, and there's a vast difference if you want to teach fighters. I think Antoken can add to this. because there are certain things that are prerequisite if you want to be a real fighter. And although I am not a black belt, when I teach someone, uh, sad to say, if you want to learn real martial art or real fighting, there's a little bit of pain involved. And part of that pain also comes with the, it's not just it's not just physical pain, but there's also psychological pain involved. You
Barrier
must
that we
trust
have
your
to.
master. That's for me. That's the old school. So
Well,
yeah, that's my 2 cents worth.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna jump in before Mr. Antoken jumps in on there because I know where that's gonna go. So, but no, I mean, the thing is that look, we all like positive reinforcement, and we it's always one of those things you feel good about yourself and stuff. But the thing is that it's a fine line to positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. As to my opinion is that if you do it right, hey, it's great, it's positive, then there's nothing to worry about. If it's wrong, and well, then you get a negative response to it. Well, it's wrong. What else? I cannot say pat you on the back for a wrong something. So really, I think it's kind of you react to if it's good or bad depending on what the performance is. Now, anything in between that, I mean, that's at least on my part. Um, Now I know that there's people have different styles of components. That's just a question of more of how bad do you want it? Are you willing to take all the good and the bad to suffer to get to your goal, or are you just looking for one side, which then you have to maybe reflect and say, okay, wait, why am I just looking for this versus you know taking both the good and the bad aspects of it? Yeah, there's my little 2 cents. Mr. Antoken, I know you're itching to share your insights there. We have many
Well,
discussions on this.
on this question, this will be a
1 hour long.
1 hour topic. But let me make it short. In my journey, I'll relate to it with the way I learned. I always believe that if you see or meet somebody who is a master of something, regardless if it's martial arts, painting, singing, or whatnot, playing soccer or whatnot, you need to actually jump in there and learn from the guy as much as you can versus uh, worrying about how much will I pay this guy? Is he expensive? Because what happens is you shorten the time that you're gonna be. Let's say you want to go from A to B, you shorten that time instead of, let's say, 5 years, you made it a year. So it's worth spending that money to learn from the right guy.
The challenge that I see there though is identifying the right guy.
Correct.
That's probably because you might think that the person is the right guy only to find out that it's just the milking of it.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
And
Yeah.
really an unfortunate, yeah. But
this
that's
is
that's
when your friends, your other peers will come in and they will see with you how the instructor teaches. Luckily for me, when I was learning it, there's a group of us. There's probably about 20 of us that runs around in Chicago meeting all these people and saying, is this guy legitimate? You know, and then if he is, we join the class.
Can I just clarify something? I think what Anthony was asking was really, if you're the instructor, what methods do you use? Do you use
Yeah,
negative
yeah,
enforcement or
I'm getting
positive
into there.
enforcement? Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason why I'm giving that background, so at least people have an idea that as an instructor, now, I mean, I go now to my end, now I'm the instructor. I am giving the same thing to the student, wherein I need to cater to the wants and the goals of the student. So I can actually teach a group class. It's pretty easy. I have three things that they need. They need to sweat, they need to learn, and they need to have fun. If I hit all those three goals, I'm doing my job in a group setting. Now the question is, are those people accelerating on their skills? Probably not. Now on the other end, if I have a guy who's one-on-one, I can cater to that guy to surpass the group class. I can teach him probably in a week. It will be equivalent of a month of a group class. So as an instructor, it's your responsibility to learn how to adjust, how to cater, how to rephrase the way you teach stuff. Maybe sometimes you're relaxed and positive reinforcement. The following day you give them negative because they don't want to listen. I don't know, you know. But it all depends on the student. You have to cater to the student. Now, again, I prefer teaching one-on-one now because I value my time, and sometimes in a group class, different people have different goals, and if you end up teaching a class all they don't care about the class or the technique, it's for me it's a waste of time.
Yeah, they just want the
May,
certificate. Yeah.
Correct.
may I add an observation? It's that, li- like you said, these are just opinions. I just noticed the important thing about any instructor, whether in sports or martial
Agree.
arts or coach. I think if you can feel that the instructor's out there because he really wants to teach you, whether it's, some are what they call these nice fellows, Christian like, they always want to talk about the positive. Then there are others like our strict sergeants, drill sergeants, right? So I think it really comes from the ano, because you're going to be surprised. There are some guys that are really tough instructors, but they come through as like tough love. I guess the
Correct.
question would be on another dimension. Another thing that you should see is this guy really interested in teaching me,
Yes.
or is he just interested in showing off,
Correct.
or he's just like a intellectual interested in what you call this, sharing the that's different, no, just interested in what you call this, sharing the intricacies of the style. There's so many dimensions, eh. But I think the primary thing is to feel that maybe because I'm Filipino, the like a fatherly love, or like a in the military, or in even in Japanese martial arts, at a certain level, more so when you take your dan exam, they will actually put on a mask and be really I would say they would haze you, eh. But then it's because this guy won't really be tough unless you give him that uh, quote unquote what you call this, barrier. And Henry was right, in only in my opinion, no. If you have a lot of time teaching someone versus somebody that I want to fight, I have a fight, I'm gonna be fighting somebody. A friend says, "Oh, I'm being bullied. I'm gonna be fighting this guy." Okay, you really want to learn? Okay, put boxing gloves on. You beat him up a little. You make him feel. I know it's neither right nor it's wrong. It's just sometimes more efficient to do it that way for that kind of
Yeah.
short a time.
Can we maybe something we can add is maybe people don't. Maybe we should talk about what do we mean when we say negative enforcement, eh? Because there's such a thing as wrong negative enforcement. I mean, what do
Correct.
we mean by negative enforcement? Maybe we're not on the same page. Maybe we don't we're not talking about the same thing. Anthony, what do you mean by your question, negative enforcement?
Hard question. Goes back to me.
Hindi, kasi
So
there are different,
yeah,
di ba? There are assholes eh. And then there
because
are strict
yeah,
teachers.
yeah,
Yeah.
just to mention that mga previous instructor, usually when they teach na, they yung pain, you mean the
Mm.
pain that yeah. And let's say me as a student, you already introduce me as a pain, but I'm only a beginner.
Mm,
So what will be the objective of your teaching?
mm-mm,
Are you really going to teach me, or are you going to really hurt me just to prove your skill? So
Okay.
that is my perspective on what. That's why I'm talking about that, because
mm,
some instructor, even if you are a beginner, they go right away to sparring. But
mm,
me, as a student,
mm-mm,
I go there to learn first.
mm-mm.
That's why we teach martial arts. We teach self-defense, right?
Well,
That's the core of
Really depends on the
on my view. So it
yeah,
really
it
depends on
depends
the
on
instructor.
it depends on the instructor. Let's say you
yeah,
come to me and you say, I want to fight Muay Thai. And I'm looking at you, I go, I don't think this guy can fight. But you said, I can fight. Well, first thing I'm going to do you is put you in the ring.
yeah,
But I'm not going to put you in there to get beat up. I'm going to put you there to have a test,
yeah,
to see what you got. But of course, in exchange to that is you're going to get hit, right?
yeah.
So, because that's the assessment I have to do. Actually, yesterday, June sent me a message saying, I have this people who wants to learn. And I told him, do an assessment first. You need to assess who's coming in, what they want, and how their physical strength and weaknesses before you make a program on what you're going to be teaching. So, like, I got women who comes to me and goes, "Hey, Paul, I want to lose weight." Let's say they want to they have a wedding to go to. So I told them, well, I can make you lose weight, but why can't you learn self-defense at the same time? You're hitting two birds in one stone. I'll make sure you lose weight, but I'll make sure you're learning self-defense. I think that's a good category wherein you're not only satisfying your students' wish, but you're giving more knowledge so they can take home.
I guess, I guess,
I
I
would
guess,
make them do my laundry.
yeah. I guess, in the end, actually, in the end, it it's hard to say because it really depends on the instructor. Because I've seen instructors who hurt students just to prove that they're very good.
Correct.
It's not really to train the student because if you're training a fighter, there's a proper way of uh,
Cook,
giving pain,
cooking.
cooking
Yeah,
him, hilamos,
tempering.
massage, tempering him. There's a proper way of doing it, and it has nothing to do. Let's say if I'm teaching, no, it has nothing to do of it. It doesn't. I mean, it has nothing to do with how good I am because I'm not that. I'm not the one training. Eh. He's the one training. So
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
if
I
this
think
guy
it's
can't, for example, even in weightlifting, no pain, no gain. But you don't automatically give a 130-pound weakling 400 pounds to bench press. Di ba?
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
proper way. Now,
Agree.
uh, the the confusion kasi there's big confusion because in if you become commercial and because probably in the states people don't want to get sued. There's an overemphasis on control. But if there's an overemphasis in control, and what happens is they stick to the forms, they stick to the whatever dances, technical moves, but they have no idea of how to give and receive pain. That's why when they fight, they try all these techniques and they get beat up. It's because they weren't cooked right. They weren't
Correct.
prepared right. Now,
As Maestro Doi mentioned that on one
yeah,
of our videos. Yeah.
any martial art should have an amount of pain. Okay? Uh, Now, when you say control, it just means that you're not going to injure your opponent, but you're going to hurt him.
You're gonna get hurt him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was Anthony's point.
Mm,
It is true. I have to admit, mea culpa, when I was younger and I had ego. I was silent. I was saying, "Oh, that was me." I used to teach, but I realized, why is the student not learning? I'm
yeah.
there for my ego game, eh.
Mm,
Diba? I was doing demonstration. Why? I wanted to show them how good I was.
You know,
So
actually,
that's a
go
wake
but
up call.
going back.
Actually,
Yeah.
Anthony, maganda 'yon sinabi mo. Maganda 'yan.
Actually, when I was teaching Muay Thai, I actually told all my fighters, right now I might be, you probably won't beat me because I know more. But there's a point in time that when you keep training and you keep fighting, you're gonna surpass me, and you will be able to take me. That's what I
Yeah,
told them.
and you, as an instructor, you feel good.
Yes, because you're
You feel
proud that
good.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're proud. I mean, one example is, my student who's a champion right now. I mean, Wallace Crafton. I mean, June can attest to this. He sees how the respect I get from the guy. I mean, it's a long time ago since I taught him. Am I right, June?
Yep. Yep. And yeah, no, I mean, and as soon as we walk in, there's that level of respect that really kind of shows for appreciation for the teachings and everything, mythologies that came
Uh,
about for sure.
yeah, and also Sonny Ross, who owns Prime Muay Thai in Illinois. I get the same respect. I mean, even though I'm like, dude, it's been a long time. You don't have to do this anymore. You guys can beat me up, but I guess I did it right, and I'm so proud of it.
Yeah.
Deep inside, I'm really happy, and I'm like, you know what? This is what it's supposed to be.
Well, I'm gonna go back to the original question of negative and positive reinforcement. I think we're going into a segue here that negative reinforcement is associated with pain.
Yeah.
But really, I think it all comes down to, I mean, to summarize, I guess, in a perspective here, so that we can kind of go on to the next part. We really have to assess the students' goals. I mean, when a student comes to me and wants to train, the free class, first of all, I offer a free class just to a under have that dialogue, be able to meet what it is that their goals are, and then I'll be able to showcase and say, okay, hey, this is what I teach, this is what the format is, and then is there an alignment with their goals and what the strengths and capabilities I'm able to show. The thing is that whether there's pain or not, depending on the training, is up to the student's goal. Now, Kirpa was saying that if it's a fighter, obviously, going to a Muay Thai fight, there's gonna be pain involved, because you're going to a fight. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to get to those impacts and whatnot. The thing is it necessarily negative because you're getting impact? No, I think for a Muay Thai fighter preparing for a fight, I think that's a positive thing, because he or she needs to be prepared for what to expect to their goal of being in the ring. So really, it comes back to the positive negative. I think it's really about aligning the instructor the instructor's teachings with the student's goal. I think the negativity
Yeah.
comes when those really don't align. I think, to summarize it
Can,
up.
can I
Can
add
I
some? Can
can
I
I
just add?
sorry. Yeah.
I'll add something lang. I think we're all in agreement that
Yeah.
obviously there's a difference if you're training for actual fighting or actual different goals and different But I think uh, there's something that's really negative and has no
Yeah.
space or no room in the dojo.
Oh,
If you already yung negative yung when you use insults already,
yeah.
demean, you know,
Yes.
the student. I mean,
Yes.
there's a big difference when you're kidding around or, like an old parent na parang, sarcastic. But there are cults. There are
Yes.
martial art cults that demean you so that they'd be put on a higher pedestal. So
Yes.
there's no room for that.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, really. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still responsible for the students. As
That's
instructor, we're still responsible for the
yeah.
students. Back to the legalities of things, whether or not we're negligent to the students' um, goals or safetyness or something or whatever. That's a whole another dialogue. I think
Yeah.
that can be looked at depending on perspective.
Yeah.
But
May,
yes,
may, yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, no, no. That's
Did I
that's
cut
why
you
I'm just
short?
trying to
Yeah.
get us moving.
Okay.
Mr. Tony or
Basta, yeah, go
Hubert,
ahead.
I think
Hubert, meron ka ba?
Sige,
Ano? Go
Hubert,
ahead,
yeah.
add.
Hindi, yung ano lang, yung gusto ko lang i-add, na-notice ko, I think it's easier to teach one person, but when you fly a kite, larga, at saka, sometimes you have to pull it so that the kite goes up. then you
Yeah.
have to let the string go.
Then you have to feed. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Feed it.
Yeah,
Then you have to pull it.
yeah,
Then you have to feed it.
yeah.
I think teaching a kid is like if you have kids, right? Ano,
I'm gonna steal
there are
that.
guidelines, but there's
I know.
instructions. No,
It's like a kite.
kasi when you're
I learned
teaching
it. It's mine.
The
when you're
kite
teaching a
technique.
thing, iba yung when you're
I like
teaching
it.
the whole.
Yes,
Pero
the
when you're
start.
teaching one, I think Antoken already said you have to adapt to the psychology of the person. Eh.
Yeah.
Sometimes the person you have to be really kind, but
Yes.
sometimes if the person is like from the streets and has no discipline and he does not respect you, you really have to kick his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but
True.
the
True.
point I think
Yes.
Jun is saying, it may sound corny, no? Love must be there.
Yeah.
Love must
Actually,
be
you're
there.
right. Because I think there there's a master student relationship. It's not a commercial thing. It's really there's a son and father relationship. So when you're building up someone, you're supposed to look not only on the external, okay, he wants to be a fighter, but you're also building up his character.
Yep.
Yep.
So if you're destroying one to build the other, what's the use? You're creating a monster, di ba?
Yep.
We're martial artists. We're supposed to develop both. There are people that we know that will never learn how to fight, but there's something about martial arts that will help them in their internal character. So we teach them martial arts, but definitely they will never go in the ring against Mike Tyson. I mean, I wouldn't go in the ring against
Well,
Mike
it depends on
Tyson.
the contract.
Yeah, so
Not with a
so it really
45.
we're building. It's like construction. There's no single. I mean, we have general. I'm not an engineer, but I guess there are each project has specific problems, and we have to know how to fix those problems. Because even I notice that there are certain things that I can, if I'm teaching someone, okay, this person I need to do this, and this person I need to do that. So I guess we're all in agreement in those in that term.
Let me just add something. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, I when I was learning martial arts, I started with Taekwondo and karate and Goju. There's always this poster, right? I don't know if you guys seen it. It says mind, body, and soul.
Mm.
Right? You need to develop all three. That's not being talked about anymore around this time. Not a lot of people are mentioning those things, but those three components, or Nickman or whatnot,
Yeah.
right? It is the essence of martial arts. You can't have only two and miss one. And that's what we're talking about. You need to
Yeah.
develop your students' mind, body, soul, or spirit, and
Otherwise, you're a McDojo. Di ba?
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, because there's the opposite side. We were talking about, di ba, yung parang we're talking about there's a little pain, you have to adjust, but there's also the opposite side. We've all known instructors that will teach you a technique and you know that, oh no, this guy can't do this to me. Get it? We're just performing. I just don't wanna embarrass the guy in front of his students. But
yeah,
you know, this guy has no skill. Di
yep,
ba? Yung parang, it doesn't matter what technique it is. It's just that, there are instructors that are just making make-believe.
correct.
So
Make
that's an
believe.
opposite. I mean,
That's an opposite direction.
I'm
Yeah.
segueing, sorry.
Hey, Anthony,
Anthony!
So,
boss.
Snappy! Snappy!
lalim, in-internalize ko pa, nagkakaganto na ako eh. So,
Folks, sorry
so,
Folks, sorry because we're not English speaking, so it takes time to translate the things in our head.
so just to go to our next question, basically, it's still pandemic. It's been a year almost that we are almost in lockdown. So how we cope up with this pandemic, and there are lots of Zoom session that being seen on the Facebook. So is there in your perspective, what is the advantage and disadvantage of Zoom? And that's it. So how FMA also helped us to cope up with this COVID thing. Okay, so back to you
Let me
guys.
let me let me tackle that real quick, so I'll be done with this topic. The new way of learning now is Zoom, am I right? So you have to pay to get into the Zoom. The problem with that is if you don't have any background on what you're getting into, you're gonna be lost. That's number one. Second thing is most of the people that I joined Zoom, they're not even participating, they're just watching.
Mm.
And I hate to say this, they're not learning, they're just wasting money. Not unless, again, they already have a background on it and then all they want to do is sharpen their skills. So they need verbal communication. But if you don't know physical activity, it's not worth it. Right? Number three, they said all videos
Ako,
are going to be
madami magagalit sa'yo. Madami magagalit.
uh, that's okay. They're going to say videos is obsolete. That means later on, probably 2 or 3 years from now, nobody's going to buy videos of teaching videos and whatnot. Uh, for me personally, you rather buy a video because you can rewind it. You can study the stuff. You don't have to
Reference
pay again
material.
to watch it, you know. And on a video, hopefully the video you're watching, the intent is really to teach the person. If you have a good quality video, I think you're going to learn. So you can actually sit down for now and watch, and then later on stand up and do the skills. You can review it, you can rewind it, you can pause it. On a Zoom class, you can't. You miss a segment, you missed it.
Yeah, but you can record the Zoom.
You can, depending on the
Admin.
administration.
If they'll give you the recording. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Correct.
Kasi ano, you
It's
didn't pay for
restricted.
it. They may charge you an extra buck for that.
Correct.
Well, some people kasi they give out Zoom seminars, no? But it's also linked to a web page, and then you can go back to the. If you pay for the membership fee, you can
Yeah.
actually get lessons, video lessons. I think that's
Yeah.
the best way. You have to prepare for it.
Pero like ano, there are actually, we all have to admit there are really limitations. What they call this? I think as watching a Zoom or video, like he said, if you have a certain amount of what they call this, martial arts or physical intelligence, then it becomes a good reference. But even then, it's also hard unless you have an existing partner while you're watching. You really have a partner because martial arts has a certain physicality to it,
Yep.
and it's really hard to what they call this. Sometimes, di ba, even in class when you're teaching, like you're teaching, you see some students that don't have that kinesthetic intelligence. They keep doing it wrong. So what do? You have to physically make them feel it. You have to. You guys know what I mean. There are
Yes.
those that are they're not dumb, but they don't have kinesthetic intelligence. While there are really some other people, even from afar, they see you do it, they'll get it right away. So there
Well, I've
really
done it
are
when I was in
limitations.
I've done it when I was in college. I just put a tape recorder and tape the class and then listen it later on. But again, you need to know your skill set in learning.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it for me.
And you
My,
go
my
Mahaba-habay
question,
na
my
ako.
go
question,
ahead.
my question to the floor is before I put in my little 2 cents. Outside of Antokin, because I already know he has everybody here um, attended a Zoom session?
Yeah, sa inyo.
No.
Ito
A Zoom
akin.
training session. Oh, that's your sa amin.
Yeah, you can talk
I
in.
I
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have I
can
have
I,
been
Okay,
okay, go ahead.
so then tell me about that experience. How was that experience for you?
me
Okay. Hubert,
me
ikaw
I
muna.
attended a session out of, even though I left karate, they're like my the club is like your family.
Yeah.
So on an important occasion, I attended a practice session.
Yeah.
It's I think in terms of Japanese style, because we do kihon basics, and we all know what the basics are.
Yeah.
So when somebody's just leading the drills, Well, I know the video is useful because you're doing the drills. Eh. You're doing, okay, let's do my Gary. Ich, ni, san, chi, you do it. Then yeah. Even though they change, you know, uh, Japanese martial arts is so fundamental. Eh. I think all martial arts are like that. But since you already know the fundamentals, even if they change the sequence, it's easy. But I think it's hard if like I'm a white belt and I don't know those techniques. The, see, yung knowledge coming in or programming the movement, the video is gonna be hard. Like what you guys said, no? If you're already physically experienced or you know the correct technique, what to look for, the video would be okay. That's my opinion.
Sa akin, I think I put it in two categories eh. One is yung just videos, pure videos. Like, remember you posted, I wanted to learn Balintawak and I had this false idea that I can learn Balintawak, Paete, and Hirosa all together eh. But I was thinking in terms of old school if I had the master and I go to this class. But it's different when it's video. Because you're not there to correct me. You know, if it's just pure video, if it's not even Zoom. Because you'll show a sequence and my mind is preoccupied trying to just memorize the sequence. Wala pa ako dun sa, I'm not yet there in the finer details of the hip twist, of where to generate power. It's just that memorizing the sequence is so hard, you know. That's pure video.
1 minute,
But yung Zoom naman, I think the problem is it's also hard, let's say for us when we teach, it's hard for me to see exactly what the student is doing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, we're gonna let this finish so that it doesn't.
Yeah,
get
might as well. I'll end it now so I can
I'll give
a new one. Okay. Sige. I'll end this now.